Most people believe that exhaustion comes from working too hard, sleeping too little, or carrying too many responsibilities. While those things certainly play a role, there is another kind of exhaustion that runs much deeper. It is the exhaustion that comes from constantly giving your energy to people, situations, habits, and thoughts that quietly drain your spirit. It happens so gradually that you often do not notice it until one day you realize that your joy has disappeared. Your motivation has faded, and your peace feels like a distant memory. The most dangerous things that drain your life are not always loud or obvious. They often arrive disguised as obligations, familiar routines, or relationships that have become so normal that you stop questioning whether they are healthy. That is why the first step toward protecting your peace is learning to recognize what is secretly stealing it. Take a moment and think about the people you interact with every day. Some conversations leave you feeling inspired, encouraged, and hopeful. Others leave you feeling anxious, frustrated, or emotionally empty. Pay attention to that difference because your emotions are trying to tell you something. Every relationship either adds value to your life or quietly takes something away from it. You cannot continue pouring your heart into people who only come to you when they need something, yet disappear when you need support. You cannot keep carrying friendships that survive only because you are the one making all the effort. Healthy relationships bring balance, trust, and mutual respect. Draining relationships leave you feeling responsible for someone else's happiness while forgetting your own. Sometimes the greatest source of exhaustion is not another person, but the voice inside your own mind. Negative self-talk can become so familiar that it feels like truth. You replay old mistakes, criticize every decision, compare yourself to others, and convince yourself that you are never enough. These thoughts slowly become emotional chains. They steal your confidence before you even begin something new. They make you fear failure before you have taken the first step. Your mind becomes a place where peace cannot survive because it is constantly filled with doubt and unnecessary criticism. Imagine how different your life would feel if you spoke to yourself with the same kindness, patience, and encouragement that you offer the people you love. There are also habits that quietly drain your energy without you realizing it. Constantly checking your phone, comparing your life to carefully edited images on social media, saying yes when your heart wants to say no, avoiding difficult conversations, or holding on to resentment for years. All of these habits consume emotional energy. Every time you ignore your own needs to satisfy someone else's expectations, you give away a small piece of your peace. Every time you choose temporary comfort instead of lasting growth, you remain trapped in a cycle that keeps you emotionally exhausted. Many people stay in unhealthy situations because they confuse familiarity with security. They tell themselves that things might get better, that people will eventually change, or that if they just try harder, everything will work out. Hope is beautiful, but hope without honesty can become a prison. There comes a moment when you must stop asking whether you can survive a situation and start asking whether that situation allows you to truly live. Peace cannot grow where fear controls every decision. Joy cannot flourish where respect no longer exists. Your heart was never meant to carry endless disappointment while pretending everything is fine. Recognizing what drains you requires complete honesty. It means looking at your daily life without excuses. It means asking yourself difficult questions. What consistently leaves me feeling empty? What relationships bring constant stress instead of support? What habits make me feel disconnected from the person I want to become? What fears are keeping me tied to situations that no longer serve me? These questions are uncomfortable, but they are also liberating because awareness always comes before transformation. Remember, your energy is one of the most valuable gifts you possess. Once it is spent, you cannot simply replace it overnight. Every day you invest your attention, your emotions, and your time into something. Make sure those investments are giving something meaningful back to you. Life becomes lighter when you stop carrying what was never yours to carry. Peace returns when you stop fighting battles that no longer deserve your strength. The moment you recognize what is secretly draining your life is the moment you begin reclaiming your freedom. Every healthy choice you make after that becomes another step toward a calmer mind, a stronger heart, and a life filled with purpose instead of pressure. One of the greatest struggles many people face is not learning how to care for others, but learning how to care for themselves without feeling guilty. From an early age, many of us are taught that being kind means always saying yes, always being available, and always putting everyone else's needs before our own. We are praised for our sacrifices, admired for our generosity, and encouraged to give more, even when we have nothing left to give. Over time, this creates a dangerous belief that our worth is measured by how much of ourselves we are willing to give away. The moment we decide to rest, set boundaries, or choose our own well-being, guilt begins to whisper that we are being selfish. But the truth is, protecting your peace is not selfish. It is one of the healthiest and wisest decisions you can ever make. Think about how often you have ignored your own needs just to keep someone else comfortable. Perhaps you stayed silent when you wanted to speak. Perhaps you accepted disrespect because you wanted to avoid conflict. Maybe you continued giving your time, your love, and your energy to people who rarely appreciated your efforts. At first, these choices may seem small, but over time they become heavy burdens. Every time you abandon yourself to meet someone else's expectations, you slowly lose touch with who you truly are. You begin living a life designed around pleasing others instead of honoring your own values and dreams. No one can live peacefully while constantly betraying themselves. There is a powerful difference between kindness and self-sacrifice. Kindness comes from a full heart that chooses to give freely. Self-sacrifice comes from believing that your needs do not matter. When giving becomes an obligation instead of a choice, it no longer brings joy. It becomes a source of exhaustion. You cannot continue pouring from an empty cup and expect to remain emotionally healthy. Even the strongest people need moments to rest, to reflect, and to restore their energy. Choosing yourself is not about loving others less. It is about finally loving yourself enough to stop disappearing in the process. Many people fear that setting boundaries will make them seem cold, uncaring, or difficult. They worry that others will become angry, disappointed, or even leave. But consider this. If someone only values you when you constantly sacrifice your happiness for theirs, is that relationship truly built on love and respect? Healthy relationships do not require you to abandon your peace. The people who genuinely care about you will respect your limits, even if they do not always understand them. Those who become upset because you protect your time and energy often benefited from the absence of your boundaries, not from the presence of your love. Choosing yourself also means giving yourself permission to say no without explaining every detail. You do not need a long speech to justify protecting your mental health. A simple and respectful no is enough. Every time you say yes to something that drains your spirit, you are saying no to something that could nourish your soul. Time is limited, energy is precious, and your peace deserves to be treated as something valuable. You are not responsible for fixing every problem, solving every conflict, or carrying every emotional burden that others place on your shoulders. Some responsibilities belong to other people, and allowing them to carry those responsibilities is not cruel. It is healthy. There will always be voices that expect more from you. Some people will call you selfish the moment you stop giving them unlimited access to your life. Do not let those opinions become your truth. Often, the people who are uncomfortable with your boundaries are the same people who were comfortable crossing them. You cannot build a peaceful life while constantly trying to satisfy expectations that never end. No matter how much you give, there will always be someone asking for more. The only person who truly knows how much you have been carrying is you. Choosing yourself is also about trusting your own inner voice. It means believing that your dreams, your health, your happiness, and your emotional well-being matter just as much as anyone else's. It means allowing yourself to walk away from situations that leave you feeling smaller instead of stronger. It means understanding that rest is productive, silence is healing, and solitude is sometimes the greatest teacher. You do not have to earn the right to protect your peace. You already deserve it simply because you are human. Imagine waking up each morning without the weight of trying to please everyone. Imagine making decisions based on wisdom instead of guilt. Imagine living with the confidence to say yes when your heart agrees and no when your spirit needs protection. That kind of freedom changes everything. Your relationships become healthier because they are built on honesty instead of obligation. Your confidence grows because you stop looking for permission to value yourself. Your heart becomes lighter because you are no longer carrying responsibilities that were never yours to carry. The moment you stop feeling guilty for choosing yourself is the moment you begin living with greater clarity, strength, and peace. You realize that taking care of your own heart is not an act of selfishness, but an act of wisdom. You understand that when you protect your energy, you become more present, more compassionate, and more capable of giving from a place of abundance instead of exhaustion. The world does not need a version of you that is constantly depleted. It needs the version of you that is healthy, whole, and at peace. That is the person you were always meant to become. One of the greatest misunderstandings about letting go is believing that it means admitting defeat. Many people hold on to painful relationships, broken dreams, betrayals, and disappointments because they think walking away means the other person has won. They believe that if they stop fighting, stop arguing, or stop seeking revenge, justice will never be served. But true strength is not found in holding on to anger. It is found in having the courage to release what is poisoning your heart. There is a remarkable kind of freedom that comes when you stop carrying resentment. The moment you let go without anger or revenge is the moment you stop allowing the past to control your present. You reclaim your peace not because life suddenly becomes fair, but because you refuse to let someone else's actions define the quality of your life. Anger is a natural emotion. It tells you that something has hurt you, crossed your boundaries, or violated your trust. There is nothing wrong with feeling angry. The problem begins when anger becomes a permanent resident in your heart. When you replay painful memories over and over again, you keep reopening wounds that were trying to heal. Every moment spent imagining revenge is another moment of peace taken away from your own life. The person who hurt you may have already moved forward, while you continue carrying the weight of what happened. That is why forgiveness is not about excusing bad behavior. It is about refusing to let that behavior continue hurting you long after the event has passed. Many people believe that revenge brings satisfaction, but it rarely does. Even if you succeed in proving someone wrong or making them experience the same pain they caused you, the emptiness inside remains. Revenge may satisfy the ego for a moment, but it never heals the heart. Healing comes from acceptance. It comes from recognizing that some people will never apologize, some questions will never be answered, and some endings will never make complete sense. Waiting for closure from someone who lacks the maturity to offer it only delays your own recovery. Sometimes the closure you are searching for is created by your decision to stop waiting and start living again. Letting go does not mean pretending that nothing happened. It does not require you to ignore your pain or deny your emotions. Real healing begins when you allow yourself to feel the hurt without allowing it to become your identity. Your pain is part of your story, but it is not the whole story. Every difficult experience carries a lesson, even if it arrives wrapped in disappointment. Some people enter your life to teach you what love looks like. Others teach you what love should never become. Some experiences strengthen your confidence, while others strengthen your wisdom. When you focus on the lesson instead of the loss, you begin transforming pain into personal growth. There is also great strength in choosing silence over unnecessary conflict. Not every insult deserves a response. Not every misunderstanding requires an explanation. Not every accusation needs a defense. Sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is your refusal to participate in negativity. Walking away is not weakness. It is wisdom. It shows that you value your inner peace more than your need to win an argument. The loudest victory is often the quiet one, where your heart remains calm while others are consumed by anger. One of the hardest parts of letting go is accepting that you cannot change another person. You cannot force someone to appreciate your value, understand your intentions, or regret the way they treated you. People change only when they choose to change. Carrying the burden of trying to fix someone who has no desire to grow will only leave you exhausted. Your responsibility is not to control another person's behavior. Your responsibility is to protect your own heart and choose environments where respect, honesty, and kindness can flourish. When you release resentment, you also create space for better things to enter your life. A heart filled with bitterness has little room for joy. A mind consumed by revenge struggles to recognize new opportunities. Every time you let go of an old wound, you make space for new friendships, deeper peace, greater confidence, and healthier relationships. Life has a remarkable way of rewarding those who refuse to let pain define them. The strongest people are not those who never get hurt. They are the ones who refuse to let hurt become permanent. Remember that your peace is far more valuable than proving a point. There will always be people who misunderstand you, disappoint you, or walk away without giving the explanation you hoped for. Do not chase them. Do not waste your energy trying to rewrite a chapter that has already ended. Instead, take everything life has taught you and carry the wisdom forward instead of the wounds. Every ending creates room for a new beginning, but only if you are willing to release what no longer belongs in your hand. As you move forward, choose grace over bitterness, understanding over resentment, and peace over revenge. Allow your character to speak louder than your anger. Let your growth become your response. Let your happiness become your victory. The people who truly succeed in life are not those who spend years trying to settle old scores. They are the ones who learn to protect their hearts, trust the journey, and keep moving forward with dignity. When you let go without anger or revenge, you discover that the greatest victory was never changing someone else. The greatest victory was becoming someone who could no longer be controlled by the pain of yesterday. That is where real freedom begins, and that is where lasting peace is found. Finding peace is a beautiful achievement, but protecting that peace is an even greater responsibility. Many people spend years searching for happiness, believing that it will come through success, wealth, recognition, or the approval of others. They tell themselves that once they reach a certain goal, earn enough money, or meet the right people, they will finally feel calm inside. Yet countless individuals have achieved everything they once dreamed of and still find themselves restless, anxious, and emotionally exhausted. The reason is simple. Peace is not something the outside world gives you. It is something you build within yourself through the choices you make every single day. If you want lasting peace, you must create a life that protects it instead of constantly placing it in danger. Every peaceful life begins with intentional decisions. You cannot expect a calm mind while surrounding yourself with constant negativity. You cannot expect emotional stability while allowing unhealthy habits to control your days. The quality of your life is shaped by the small choices you repeat consistently. Every morning, you choose what thoughts you entertain. Every afternoon, you choose where your attention goes. Every evening, you choose what you carry into tomorrow. These simple decisions may seem insignificant, but over time they become the foundation of your emotional well-being. A peaceful life is not built overnight. It is built one wise decision at a time. One of the most important ways to protect your inner peace is by becoming intentional about the people you allow into your life. Relationships have incredible power. The right people inspire you, encourage you, and remind you of your worth. They celebrate your victories without jealousy and support you through your struggles without judgment. On the other hand, unhealthy relationships leave you constantly questioning yourself. They fill your days with unnecessary drama, criticism, and emotional confusion. You do not have to surround yourself with people simply because you have known them for a long time. Loyalty should never require you to sacrifice your peace. Sometimes the most loving decision you can make is to create healthy distance from those who consistently disturb your spirit. Protecting your peace also requires learning the value of silence. We live in a world that constantly demands our attention. Notifications never stop. Opinions come from every direction. Social media encourages endless comparison, and the noise of everyday life can easily overwhelm the mind. If you never create quiet moments for yourself, you will slowly lose the ability to hear your own inner voice. Silence is not empty. It is where clarity is born. It is where your mind rests, your heart heals, and your spirit finds direction. Spending time alone is not a sign of loneliness. It is an investment in your emotional strength. Some of the greatest decisions you will ever make will come during moments of stillness rather than moments of chaos. Another essential part of building a peaceful life is learning to live in the present. So many people lose today's joy because they are trapped between yesterday's regrets and tomorrow's worries. They replay mistakes they cannot change and fear problems that have not even happened yet. Meanwhile, the only moment they truly have slips away unnoticed. Peace grows when you focus your attention on what you can control right now. You cannot rewrite the past, and you cannot predict every detail of the future. What you can do is make wise choices today. Every kind word you speak, every healthy habit you practice, every moment of gratitude you embrace, becomes another brick in the foundation of a peaceful life. Gratitude is one of the most powerful protectors of inner peace. It shifts your attention from what is missing to what is already present. This does not mean ignoring your goals or pretending life is perfect. It simply means refusing to let dissatisfaction become your permanent mindset. When you appreciate the simple blessings that surround you, your heart becomes lighter. You begin noticing beauty in ordinary moments, strength in difficult seasons and opportunities where you once saw only obstacles. Gratitude transforms the way you experience life because it teaches your mind to focus on abundance instead of lack. A peaceful life also depends on maintaining healthy boundaries with your time and energy. Not every invitation deserves a yes. Not every argument deserves your participation. Not every opportunity deserves your attention. One of the greatest signs of maturity is knowing when to walk away from distractions that pull you away from your purpose. Protecting your peace means understanding that your energy is limited, and every place you invest it should bring meaning, growth, or genuine connection. You do not need to explain every decision to people who do not understand your journey. Your responsibility is not to satisfy every expectation. Your responsibility is to remain faithful to the life you are trying to build. Never underestimate the power of daily habits. A few moments of quiet reflection, regular exercise, meaningful conversations, reading uplifting words, getting enough rest, and caring for your physical and emotional health all contribute to lasting peace. Small actions repeated consistently create extraordinary results. The strongest foundations are not built through dramatic changes, but through steady commitment. Every healthy habit becomes another layer of protection around your mind and heart. Over time, these simple practices help you respond to challenges with wisdom instead of panic, patience instead of frustration, and confidence instead of fear. As you continue your journey, remember that protecting your inner peace is not a destination you reach once and never think about again. It is a lifelong practice. There will always be distractions, disappointments, and unexpected challenges, but they do not have to steal your calm unless you give them permission. Choose people who bring out the best in you. Choose thoughts that strengthen rather than weaken your spirit. Choose habits that nourish your soul instead of draining it. Choose forgiveness over bitterness, gratitude over complaint, and purpose over distraction. Every one of these choices shapes the life you are creating. In the end, the greatest success is not measured by how much you own, how famous you become, or how many people admire you. True success is waking up each morning with a peaceful heart, a clear mind, and the quiet confidence that no matter what happens around you, you have built a life that protects the most valuable thing you will ever possess, your inner peace. As we come to the end of this journey, remember one simple truth. Your peace is your greatest wealth. It is more valuable than approval, more powerful than revenge, and more important than proving yourself to people who were never willing to understand you. The world will always demand more of your time, your attention, and your energy, but you must decide what deserves access to your heart. Not everything requires your response. Not every battle deserves your strength. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is quietly walk away and protect the life you are building. From this day forward, begin paying attention to what lifts your spirit and what slowly drains it. Choose relationships that bring respect instead of confusion. Choose habits that strengthen your mind instead of weakening it. Choose thoughts that inspire hope instead of feeding fear. And above all, choose yourself without guilt, because you cannot pour love, kindness, and wisdom into the world if your own soul is running empty. There will be moments when letting go feels painful. There will be days when protecting your boundaries feels uncomfortable. Some people may misunderstand your silence, question your decisions, or even walk away because you are no longer willing to sacrifice your peace for their comfort. Let them. Not every goodbye is a loss. Sometimes it is the beginning of the life you have been praying for. Every ending creates space for a healthier beginning, and every boundary you set is a promise that your future will no longer be controlled by the mistakes of your past. Never forget that peace is not the absence of challenges. It is the presence of inner strength. It is waking up each morning, knowing that no matter what happens around you, you have the wisdom to protect your heart, the courage to release what no longer serves you, and the confidence to keep moving forward with purpose. That kind of peace cannot be bought, borrowed, or given by someone else. It is built, choice by choice, day by day, through the life you decide to live. So stop carrying burdens that were never yours to bear. Stop chasing people who refuse to value you. Stop reliving moments that cannot be changed. Your future is waiting for the version of you that is lighter, wiser, and stronger. The greatest transformation in your life will not begin when the world changes. It will begin the moment you change what you allow into your mind, your heart, and your life. Take one step today. Just one. Walk away from one habit that steals your joy. Release one thought that keeps you trapped. Forgive one hurt that has been living in your heart for far too long. Protect 1 hour of your day for your own growth and peace. Small decisions made consistently create extraordinary lives. You do not need to change everything overnight. You only need the courage to begin. If this message has spoken to your heart, do not let it become just another speech you listened to and forgot. Let it become a decision. Let it become a new standard for how you live. Let it remind you every single day that your peace is worth protecting, your energy is worth preserving, and your life is far too precious to waste on anything that constantly drains your spirit. The life you deserve is not found by holding on to what hurts you. It is found by having the courage to release it. Choose peace over pressure. Choose growth over fear. Choose freedom over resentment. And most importantly, choose the person you are becoming over the person you have outgrown. Your next chapter begins with one decision. Choose peace. Choose yourself. And never look back.